Listen to me. If you're breathing right now, this message is for you. I don't care how quiet your phone is. I don't care how heavy your chest feels at night. I don't care how strong you pretend to be during the day. You are not alone, and today that lie ends. Listen to me closely. That feeling you carry, the one that creeps in late at night, the one that tells you nobody would understand, even if you tried to explain, it is not the truth. It is a story your pain is telling you. Pain is persuasive. It speaks with confidence. It repeats itself until it sounds like fact. It tells you that you're different, disconnected, forgotten. But pain does not have authority over reality. Pain is an experience, not an identity. And the moment you start believing it defines you, it tightens its grip. You don't feel alone because you are alone. You feel alone because pain isolates the mind before it ever isolates the body. It pulls you inward, it makes you question your worth. And if you don't challenge that voice, it will convince you that silence is safety. But silence is where pain grows strongest. There are people all around you carrying the same weight, asking the same questions, fighting the same invisible battles. They sit in traffic beside you, they work next to you, they laugh at the same jokes, but you don't see their struggle because they've mastered the art of hiding it. And they don't see yours for the same reason. That's how the lie survives, by convincing everyone they're the only one feeling this way. Pain thrives on comparison. It tells you that others are moving forward while you're stuck, that others are happy while you're barely holding on. But comparison is a distorted mirror. You're comparing your inner chaos to someone else's outer performance, and no one shows the nights they break down, the mornings they feel empty, the moments they question everything. You're not behind. You're human. Pain also has a way of rewriting your past and stealing your future. It takes moments of connection you once had and convinces you they were temporary, accidental, undeserved. It takes dreams you once believed in and tells you they were childish, unrealistic, foolish. Slowly, subtly, pain reduces your world until it feels like there's no room for hope. And when hope feels distant, loneliness feels permanent. But that's another lie. Loneliness is not a life sentence, it's a signal. It's your soul saying it needs understanding, not judgment, connection, not perfection. You don't need to be fixed to be worthy of companionship. You don't need to be healed to be loved. Pain will tell you otherwise, but pain is not qualified to make that call. Let me tell you something most people never realize. The people who feel the deepest loneliness are often the most empathetic, the most thoughtful, the most aware. You feel deeply, so you hurt deeply. You notice what others overlook. You question what others ignore. And that depth can feel isolating in a world that moves fast and stays shallow. But that depth is not a flaw. It's a strength that hasn't found its mirror yet. Pain tells you that being different means being alone. The truth is, being different means you're wired for meaningful connection, not surface-level noise. And meaningful connection takes time. It takes courage. It takes showing up before you feel ready. Pain wants you to wait until you're perfect. Life wants you to show up as you are. There's another dangerous thing pain does. It convinces you that your absence wouldn't matter. That if you disappeared, the world would keep moving just fine. That your presence is optional. That is one of the most destructive lies a human being can believe. Because you cannot measure your impact from inside your own pain. You don't see the ways your words linger, the ways your energy shifts rooms, the ways your existence alone provides comfort to someone else who feels unseen. Pain narrows your vision until you only see what's missing, never what you provide. But the world is not better without you. It is quieter. And quiet does not mean healed. Your life carries weight. Even on days it feels heavy. So hear this and hold on to it. The feeling of being alone is not proof that you are alone. It is proof that you are hurting. And hurting people deserve support, not shame. They deserve compassion, not isolation. The lie ends the moment you recognize it for what it is. You are not disconnected. You are overwhelmed. You are not forgotten. You are exhausted. You are not invisible. You are human in a world that rarely slows down enough to truly see. But you are seen, and you are not alone in this fight, even when it feels that way. You are not alone. The pain is loud, but the truth is louder. And the truth is, you belong, you matter, and this moment does not define the rest of your life. Let me say this without hesitation. Struggling does not mean you are weak. It does not mean you are failing. It does not mean you are behind. It means you are alive and engaged in the process of becoming. Too many people confuse struggle with defeat, but they are not the same thing. Defeat is when you stop trying. Struggle is what happens when you refuse to quit, even though everything in you is tired. You wake up every day carrying weight you never asked for, facing pressure you never prepared for, and still you show up. That alone speaks volumes about who you are. If struggle disqualified people, there would be no leaders, no survivors, no success stories. Every person you admire walked through fire before they ever stood in light. The struggle is not evidence that you're losing. It's evidence that you're still in the game. You've been judging yourself by the wrong standard. You look at where you think you should be and punish yourself for not being there yet. You measure your progress against timelines that were never yours to begin with. And every time you fall short of those expectations, you tell yourself, something must be wrong with you. But growth does not move in straight lines. It moves in cycles, setbacks, pauses, and painful lessons. The struggle is part of the curriculum. It's where discipline is built. It's where resilience is forged. It's where character is revealed. You don't learn strength in comfort. You don't develop clarity in ease. You learn it when things don't go according to plan, and you decide to keep going anyway. That decision matters more than any perfect outcome. Understand this. Struggling does not erase your value. You don't lose worth because life got hard. You don't become less important because you're uncertain. You don't become invisible because you're overwhelmed. Society praises results but ignores process, and that's dangerous. Because process is where the real work happens. That's where courage shows up quietly. That's where integrity is tested. That's where you prove to yourself what you're made of. You may not feel strong right now, but strength is not a feeling, it's an action. And every time you choose to stand up again, to try again, to breathe through the doubt and keep moving, you are practicing strength. Even on days it feels messy. Especially on days it feels messy. There will be moments when your struggle makes you question your identity. You'll ask yourself who you are if things aren't working, if plans fell apart, if progress is slow. But your identity was never meant to be built on perfection. It was meant to be built on persistence. You are not the sum of your mistakes. You are not defined by your lowest moment. You are defined by how you respond when life tests you. Struggle strips away illusion. It reveals what really matters. It forces you to confront your fears, your habits, your beliefs. And while that process is uncomfortable, it is necessary. Because the version of you that emerges from struggle is wiser, more grounded, and more capable than the version that entered it. Let's be honest, struggle is exhausting. It drains your energy. It challenges your faith. It makes you doubt yourself in ways success never will. But exhaustion does not mean you are done. It means you have been carrying more than most people ever see. And still you're here. Still breathing, still listening, still looking for something better. That matters. You don't need to have it all figured out to keep going. You don't need clarity to take the next step. You just need enough courage to not give up on yourself. Progress doesn't come from having all the answers. It comes from refusing to surrender to the questions. One day, you will look back on this season with a different perspective. What feels like delay now will make sense later. What feels like weakness will reveal itself as preparation. The struggle you're in is shaping you for responsibilities you haven't stepped into yet. It's teaching you patience, empathy, endurance. And when you finally stand on the other side of this, you won't just be proud of what you achieved. You'll be proud of who you became while achieving it. So don't let this moment convince you that you are unworthy, incapable, or broken. You are becoming. And becoming is never comfortable. Your struggle does not disqualify you. It is refining you, strengthening you, and preparing you for a future that requires exactly the resilience you're building right now. Stay in the fight. You are closer than you think. You need to understand something powerful, something that changes how you see yourself when the world feels indifferent. Just because you don't feel seen does not mean you are invisible. Just because nobody has acknowledged your effort does not mean it hasn't mattered. The absence of applause does not cancel the presence of impact. Most of the strongest work happening in this world is happening quietly, unnoticed, uncelebrated. And if you are someone who keeps showing up without recognition, who keeps pushing without validation, who keeps believing without evidence, you are not overlooked by life. You are being built in silence. The truth is, the loudest achievements are often supported by the quiet. Endurance. And endurance, even when unseen, always leaves a mark. There is a strength in you that operates without witnesses. It shows up in the moments nobody posts about, nobody records, nobody rewards. It shows up when you choose discipline over distraction, responsibility over excuses, growth over comfort. You think nobody notices because the world hasn't stopped to applaud. But influence doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it whispers, sometimes it waits, sometimes it plants seeds in people who will never tell you how much you helped them. Your consistency, your kindness, your refusal to quit, it all ripples outward in ways you cannot track. Being unseen doesn't mean being insignificant. It means your impact is deeper than surface-level attention. You underestimate how much your presence alone changes the environment around you. Energy is real. People feel it even when they don't name it. When you walk into a room with resilience in your spirit, with quiet determination in your posture, it affects others. Someone else finds courage because you stayed steady. Someone else finds hope because you didn't break. You don't need a microphone to lead. You don't need a spotlight to matter. Leadership often happens in the background, through example rather than instruction. And your example, especially in hardship, is teaching people what perseverance looks like, even when no one says thank you. It's easy to believe you're unseen when you're exhausted. Fatigue distorts perception. When you've been strong for too long, silence can feel like abandonment. You start asking yourself if anyone would notice if you stop trying. But let me be clear, people notice more than they express. They assume your strength means you don't need acknowledgement. They assume your consistency means you don't need encouragement. And that assumption is unfair, but it doesn't erase your value. It reveals how rare your resilience truly is. Strong people often carry the heaviest burdens because the world leans on them quietly. That doesn't mean you should carry it alone. It means your strength is real. Even when it feels like your efforts disappear into nothing, they are shaping who you are becoming. Every unseen sacrifice builds internal character. Every unnoticed decision strengthens your integrity. You are becoming someone who doesn't rely on validation to move forward. someone who acts from conviction, not approval. That kind of person is dangerous in the best way, because they cannot be stopped by silence. They cannot be controlled by neglect. They move with purpose because they know who they are, even when no one is watching. And that self-trust is more powerful than any external recognition you could receive. So don't measure your worth by visibility. Don't tie your significance to attention. The world may not clap for you today, but life is recording everything. The patience you're practicing, the courage you're building, the integrity you're choosing, all of it counts. And one day, when the moment comes that requires exactly what you've been quietly developing, you'll understand why you had to walk through this season unseen. Not ignored but prepared, not forgotten but fortified. You are seen, even when it feels like you're not. Your endurance is speaking louder than words, and your presence is shaping lives in ways you may never fully realize. Keep going. What you're building in silence will echo in time. What you are living through right now is not the full measure of who you are. It may feel overwhelming, consuming, all-encompassing, but this moment is not your entire story. Pain has a way of shrinking time, making the present feel permanent and the future feel unreachable. When you're in the middle of the storm, it convinces you that this is all there will ever be. But life is not one chapter, it is a series of transformations. You are standing in a moment that is shaping you, not sentencing you. What feels heavy now will one day feel instructive. What feels endless now will one day feel like the beginning of something greater. This season is not here to define you, it's here to prepare you. Right now, you might be measuring your life by what you've lost instead of what you're becoming. Lost confidence, lost time, lost certainty, lost versions of yourself you thought would last forever. But loss is not always subtraction. Sometimes it's refinement. Sometimes what falls away was never meant to come with you to the next level. Pain strips you down to your essentials. It reveals your true values. It forces you to ask questions you avoided when things were comfortable. And while that process is uncomfortable, it is necessary. You cannot evolve without shedding skin. You cannot grow without outgrowing something. This moment is not erasing you, it's clarifying you. There is wisdom being formed in you right now that cannot be taught in moments of ease. Empathy is being sharpened, perspective is being deepened. You are learning how to sit with discomfort, how to endure uncertainty, how to stand when answers are unavailable. These lessons don't show immediate results, but they shape the foundation of your future. One day, you will recognize that the strength you rely on was built here. In confusion, in disappointment, in waiting. The patience you will need later is being practiced now. The compassion you will offer others later is being born from your own pain today. This moment is not wasted. It is working on you in ways you cannot yet see. You may not realize it, but your current struggle is giving you a voice that will matter to someone else. Not because you have all the answers, but because you understand the questions. There will come a time when your experience becomes someone else's lifeline. When your survival becomes proof that endurance is possible. When your honesty becomes permission for someone else to keep going. That's how purpose often reveals itself. Not through achievement, but through survival. Your story is being written in layers, and this chapter, as difficult as it is giving it depth. A story without struggle has no resonance. Yours will resonate because you stayed. It's important to remember that clarity often comes later, not in the moment. Right now, you may feel lost, unsure of where this road leads, or why you're even on it. That doesn't mean you're off track. It means you're still in process. Life rarely explains itself while it's happening. Understanding comes with distance. Healing comes with time. But growth begins the moment you decide not to quit. You don't need to see the whole picture to trust that it's forming. You just need to keep walking, even when the path feels unclear. Faith in yourself is built step by step, not all at once. One day you will look back at this version of yourself with gratitude. Not because it was easy, but because it was transformative. You will see how this season reshaped your priorities, strengthened your character, and taught you how to stand alone without being lonely. You will recognize that this moment did not break you, it built you. And when that day comes, you'll understand that your life was never small, never meaningless, never stuck. It was unfolding, exactly as it needed to. This is not the end of your story. This is the chapter that gives the rest of your life meaning. Stay present, stay open. Stay alive to the possibility that what you're becoming is greater than anything you've lost. The is a dangerous myth that has been passed down for generations. And it sounds like strength, but it is slowly destroying people from the inside. The myth says you have to handle everything on your own, that if you ask for help, you're weak, that if you admit you're struggling, you failed. That belief has cost people their peace, their health, and in some cases, their lives. Strength was never meant to be silent suffering. Strength was never meant to be isolation. Real strength is honesty. Real strength is self-awareness. Real strength is recognizing when the weight is heavier than one person was designed to carry. You were not built to be a machine, you were built to be human, and humans need support. Asking for help is not giving up control, it is taking responsibility. Responsibility for your well-being, responsibility for your future, responsibility for staying alive and present in your own life. When you refuse help, you don't become stronger, you become overwhelmed, you become exhausted, you become disconnected from yourself. Pride disguises itself as independence, but all it really does is keep you trapped. It tells you to struggle quietly, to bleed privately, to smile publicly, but healing does not happen in hiding. Growth does not happen in isolation. The moment you speak up, the moment you admit you don't have all the answers, you create space for solutions to enter your life. There is courage required to say, I need help. More courage than pretending you're fine. Pretending is easy, pretending is familiar, but honesty demands vulnerability, and vulnerability demands bravery. When you open your mouth and tell the truth about what you're carrying, you are choosing life over image. You are choosing progress over ego. You are choosing connection over loneliness. And here's what most people don't realize. Asking for help doesn't make you a burden. It gives others permission to be human too. Your honesty becomes an invitation. Your openness becomes a bridge. Someone else who was suffering in silence suddenly feels less alone because you spoke first. You don't need to tell everyone. You don't need to make an announcement. You don't need to expose every detail of your life. You just need one safe place, one person, one conversation where you don't have to perform, where you don't have to be strong, where you don't have to have it figured out. That moment of release, of finally letting the weight rest somewhere other than your chest, can change everything. Support doesn't remove your struggle, but it makes it survivable. It reminds you that you are not carrying this world alone, even when it feels like you have been. There is also power in allowing yourself to receive. Many people are good at giving but uncomfortable receiving. They show up for everyone else but disappear when they need help. But refusing support doesn't make you noble. It makes you depleted. You deserve the same compassion you give to others. You deserve rest. You deserve understanding. You deserve someone to sit with you in the mess without trying to fix you. Letting people help you does not make you dependent. It makes you balanced. It restores your capacity to keep going without burning yourself out completely. One day, you will realize that the moments you thought made you weak were actually the moments that saved you. The conversation you almost didn't have, the hand you almost didn't take, the truth you were afraid to say out loud. Those moments didn't reduce you, they revealed you. They showed you that strength isn't about standing alone in the storm. It's about knowing when to step closer to others so you don't drown. Life is not a solo mission. It never was. And the sooner you accept that, the lighter your journey becomes. Asking for help is not the absence of strength. It is strength in motion. It is the decision to survive, to grow, and to keep going. You don't have to do this alone. You were never meant to. Reach out, stay here. Your life is worth the support it takes to protect it. You belong here, not because of what you've achieved, not because of how productive you've been, not because of how strong you appear to others, but because you exist. Too many people are waiting to feel worthy before they allow themselves to take up space, waiting until they're healed, waiting until they're confident, waiting until they're successful. But belonging is not a reward you earn at the finish line. It is a truth you are born into. You don't have to prove your value to deserve a place in this world. The fact that you are here, breathing, feeling, struggling, hoping, that alone gives you permission to exist fully. You are not an extra in someone else's story. You are not replaceable. You are not optional. You are necessary. Somewhere along the way, you were taught that your worth was conditional, that you had to perform to be accepted, that you had to hide the messy parts to be loved, that if people really saw you, your fears, your doubts, your inconsistencies, they would walk away. So you learned to shrink, to edit yourself, to stay quiet when you wanted to speak, to disappear in rooms where you deserved to be heard. And over time, that shrinking felt like loneliness. But the truth is, you weren't lonely because you didn't belong. You were lonely because you stopped showing up as yourself. Belonging doesn't come from fitting in, it comes from standing in your truth and letting yourself be seen, even when it's uncomfortable. You don't need to wait until you feel ready to take up space. Readiness is not a requirement for worthiness. There will always be reasons to delay. Fear, doubt, comparison, the feeling that everyone else has it figured out. But everyone else is carrying something too. Everyone else is improvising more than they admit. The difference is not that others are more deserving, it's that they've given themselves permission to be present, permission to try, permission to fail, permission to exist without apology. You don't need permission from the world, you need it from yourself. The moment you stop asking whether you belong and start claiming your place, everything shifts. Belonging also means allowing yourself to be imperfect in public. It means letting people see you learn, grow, stumble, and rise. Perfection creates distance. Authenticity creates connection. The parts of you that feel broken, unsure, or unfinished are not disqualifications. They are bridges. They are what make you relatable. They are what allow others to say, "Me too." You think you need to be whole to belong, but belonging is often what makes healing possible. When you stop hiding, you stop isolating. When you stop isolating, you remember you are part of something larger than your fear, faith. Air is a quiet power in choosing to stay when everything in you wants to disappear. To stay in conversations, to stay in relationships, to stay in your own life. Staying doesn't mean forcing yourself to be happy. It means refusing to abandon yourself. It means saying, "I'm allowed to be here even on my worst days." That decision, to remain present, to keep showing up, to not erase yourself, is an act of self-respect. And self-respect changes how the world meets you. When you believe you belong, you stop begging for validation. You stop settling for spaces that require you to be smaller. You start attracting environments that honor who you are, and understand this deeply. The world needs you as you are, not as who you think you should be. Your perspective matters. Your voice adds something no one else can replicate. Your existence fills a space that would otherwise remain empty, even if you don't see it yet, even if you don't feel it today. Purpose doesn't always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it shows up quietly, in presence, in empathy, in simply staying alive when giving up felt easier. That is not insignificant. That is profound. You are contributing just by being here. You belong, right here, right now, exactly as you are. Not later, not when you're fixed, not when you're fearless. Now, don't shrink, don't disappear, don't talk yourself out of your own life. Stay. Take up space. The world is better with you in it.